A Detroit woman speaking out only to Local 4 tonight after she says an Uber driver tried to kidnap her.
Take a look at her injuries after she had to jump out of a moving car to escape. Jermont Terry is live on the city's west side. Jermont, what did she say happened?
Well, Kimberly, she says she jumped out of that moving vehicle to save her life, and she came here to the 12th precinct and reported the horrific Uber ride to authorities. Now, this all comes after she says the driver turned off the mobile tracking app, started driving erratically, and refused to listen to anything she was requesting from the back seat.
He looked at me and started speeding, but before he started speeding, he locked the doors.
As the driver sped down Myers at a high speed, she says the man started blasting the radio and refused to answer any questions or even acknowledge she was in the van. So by the time she got to the intersection of Curtis and Myers, she bailed, jumping from the moving van.
As News Channel 5's Nick Barris tells us, she barely escaped by bailing out of her speeding car.
I took my seatbelt off. I think I did like this and grabbed the phone. And in that second, that's when I opened the door and I jumped.
This time, she says, he pulled a knife.
I didn't do anything like to trigger him for anything. He just got close to me. He had the knife, he put it here, and he said, okay, now you're gonna do what I say.
We've been reaching out, so far no comment from Uber about this woman who's clearly injured while jumping out the back of a moving car to escape.
Something so many of us do without giving it a second thought. Need a ride? Open an app. When a car shows up, hop in. South Carolina college student Samantha Josephson got into a car she thought was her Uber Friday morning, and she wound up dead. Chilling surveillance video shows the 21-year-old standing near a crowd outside a bar in Columbia right around 2 in the morning Friday. Car pulls up, she can be seen climbing in, and hunters found her body about 14 hours later in a field some 90 miles away.
I asked him, why don't you go around this truck? Why you just sitting behind this truck like this? I have to get to work. And then he wouldn't answer me. So a black guy got out of the truck. He had braids in his head and everything. And he started opening the gates to this warehouse or whatever it was, and was telling the car that I was in, the Lyft driver, to back into the warehouse or whatever. So I'm like, what are you doing?
When you first sit down in an Uber, make sure you can open it right back up. Make sure that you're able to open it back up, because some of these Uber drivers may have their child safety lock on when you first get in the car. Is that when I pulled up his information this morning, it shows the actual street that I jumped out the car on. It shows the location of where he actually started the supposedly route was. From Grisham to Wellham, whatever road it was that I got out, because he was continuing to try to go through the light. And when I seen him not slowing down or stopping, I jumped out the car.
We gotta stop it because I got 4 kids. I can't be riding like this. Just let us out. You can let us out, bro.
And that's when I open the car door and it's unlocked and I just jump out without thinking.
That's Elizabeth on the ground back there. She suffered a head injury, fractured wrist.
Yeah, and the plate's right around here.
Along the way, Jasmine says the driver turned off her ride.
According to Uber, I'm not in your car anymore.
3.5 miles from her home in Oakland. She said she was able to escape from the Lyft car and run into the woods.
So I open the door and then I get in, and there's this guy next to me in a suit. So I'm like, I know I requested pool, but they never put someone's name on it, and they never said who I was riding with, like who was also getting in, and that's usually what they do. And I'm like, why is he in a suit? Like, is he going to the airport or something? So I'm like, if he's in a suit, where are his bags? I see no bags. Where are your bags? So I tried to open my door actually, and it was locked. So we walking up to the car or whatever, and my map was telling me that the Uber was further up ahead. So I'm like, okay, we just got like one more block to go. So then as we're walking to the car, a van pulls up, black van pulls up. He's like, oh, Shatavia? He said my name, oh, Shatavia? I'm like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we get in the car or whatever. And so something told me, look at the app. So I looked at the app and I noticed that the driver looked nothing like the driver's picture in the app. So I'm like, I said, what's your name? And he said some off the wall name. He was like, yeah, Shatavia, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm Shatavia, but who are you? You don't look nothing like this Uber driver. Thank God I wasn't too drunk, y'all. I had some drinks, but I had my common sense.
And I can't help but link the two, that a lot of these kidnappers and organ harvesters, I feel like, are using these ride-sharing apps to make the whole process easier for them to actually do and to possibly get away with, because when they do it, they don't intend for their victim to stay alive. So I feel like these Lyft apps, these Uber apps, and all the other ride-sharing apps are becoming a tool for these kidnappers, for these organ harvesters. That way they can snatch these women up quickly and swiftly and get away with it.
Sexually assaulting a woman. 53-year-old Larry Ward is facing rape and kidnapping charges. He's accused of picking up a woman who requested a lift back in June. And another popular ride-sharing company, Uber, recently disclosed from a ride safety report that 3,000 sexual assaults occurred. Uber said it recorded 235 rapes took place last year.
Of the loveliest girls in the world meet in London for the final of the Miss World contest organised by Mecca Dancing.
The Uber driver accused of a deadly Michigan shooting rampage is expected today to be arraigned on murder charges. Jason Brian Dalton is accused of shooting 8 people Saturday night in Kalamazoo, killing 6.
And I trust that the Almighty God will haunt you eternally, starting now, with the fact that you are nothing but a pile of worthless evil.
You tried to kill us all. You failed. I'm standing here, right here, in your face, in front of you. How does it make you feel? Look at me. How does it make you feel?
Now, how would they recruit these kids?
You know, Ray, as you know, the gangs are recruiting kids at 8 years old. And 8, 9-year-old kids are getting in the gangs, and all it takes is a guy going up to a little high school girl or a junior high girl and saying, hey, you want to come out to a party with us? And she thinks she's going to a party, and next thing you know, they rape her. And you just got to be able to talk to your kids. and have your kids feel like they can talk to you. I think that's the problem. I know when I was a kid, if I had went to my mom and said, Mom, I'm going to be a 1%er boss one day, she would have fell on her face and started praying, but at the same time, it wouldn't have been a conversation we could have,
Right.
But with Jesus, you can have that conversation. You can go to him and say, Lord, this is what I was going on in my life. I need your help. I'm putting it at the cross. Let's get it fixed, because it's a relationship. In my crew, we had surgeons, we had lawyers, I had a couple of judges. When our case went down a few months ago, we had 15 officers get locked up. These are police officers get locked up for being affiliated with us. They were actually running guard for us while we're selling drugs and selling guns. I mean, it's amazing. And these are the folks that we entrust, and we pay taxes to make sure they protect our families and our cities, and they were working for me.
Right. Now, with the sex trafficking, though, I mean, would kids from all income classes be targeted, or would it just be kind of just the lower income?
With the sex trade and human trafficking, it's a $32 billion a year industry. 27 million kids are slaves right now, or people are in that slavery. It's not just sex slavery, it's human labor. They're using them to build products, and start looking it up and start seeing it's here in the United States.
So any neighborhood's at risk. Doesn't matter whether you're low income or high income, your neighborhood's at risk. Your kids are at risk to being victims of sex trafficking.
They are, and I guess the real reason why, Ray, is this. If I go out and I sell a box truck full of guns, or I sell 50 keys of cocaine and I get caught, I'm going to prison for a long time, right?
Right.
But if I get a girl and I put her up in a hotel room, and I've got the room 3 doors down, and she knows if she leaves, I'm going to kill her, right?
Right.
And she's in there doing tricks all night just for Johns over and over and over. The cops come and bust her. They can't even identify what's really going on. So she goes to jail, and the gang walks away. We're free in Atlanta, it's San Diego, it's Houston, Texas, and it's not in the hood. I mean, these things are happening right there in middle class and upper class America. And like I was saying before, the average life expectancy for these kids is 7 years, Ray. They're doping them up, getting them hooked on dope, and then killing them when they've worn them out. And that breaks my heart. I can't, that's the part I can't swallow, and I can't sleep at night without doing something about it. And just put Jesus as your center. That's, without him, I say it all the time, that his blood truly covers. And without it, none of us, can even be here, and we're not worthy of it. But thank God he gave his life for us.
A Detroit woman speaking out only to Local 4 tonight after she says an Uber driver tried to kidnap her.
Take a look at her injuries after she had to jump out of a moving car to escape.
As News Channel 5's Nick Barris tells us, she barely escaped by bailing out of her speeding car.
I took my seatbelt off. I think I did like this and grabbed the phone. And in that second, that's when I opened the door and I jumped.
When you first sit down in an Uber, make sure you can open it right back up. Make sure that you're able to open it back up, because some of these Uber drivers may have their child safety lock on when you first get in the car.
So I feel like these Lyft apps, these Uber apps, and all the other ride-sharing apps are becoming a tool for these kidnappers, for these organ harvesters. That way they can snatch these women up quickly and swiftly and get away with it.
53-year-old Larry Ward is facing rape and kidnapping charges. He's accused of picking up a woman who requested a lift back in June. And another popular ride-sharing company, Uber, recently disclosed from a ride safety report that 3,000 sexual assaults occurred. Uber said it recorded 235 rapes took place last year.
Just put Jesus as your center. That's, without him, I say it all the time, that his blood truly covers. And without it, none of us, can even be here, and we're not worthy of it. But thank God he gave his life for us.